Hi tribe, welcome back to my channel. It's been 3 weeks, a month. Pam says it's been
2 weeks.
2 weeks. She's lying. Okay, she's lying. It has been a while, but thank you so much for joining. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much as always. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking and doing the thing, subscribing. Okay, so today we are talking about lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation. What is lifestyle inflation? So it basically means that as your income grows, so do your expenses start growing gradually. So you don't quite see it. It's not like, oh, my expenses are becoming massive now. But the more you make, the more your expenses just go higher and higher and higher. And why is that dangerous? It's because we often are, the things that we are not aware of are the most dangerous things, actually, right? Because you start, the gym membership now from the normal membership that you would have. Now, I can afford to do national membership. You don't even travel that much. But here you are, you have national membership. For what good reason? And you know for sure that when you do go on holiday, you never ever exercise. You take your gym clothes, you're going to hike, you never do. Okay? So with some of these things, we have to be realistic and say, actually, I know myself. When I'm on holiday, exercise is the last thing. So it's these small expenses that end up being very, very big. So it can even mean sometimes you have your car that's maybe almost paid off. Now you have an increase. I can afford my Mercedes Benz now. I have an increase, right? Or a perfectly fine home that is enough for you and your kids and your partner. But a nicer one, like maybe now it will have a study, and there's nothing wrong with all of these things. Nothing wrong with it. But it's the unconsciousness to them that has the danger. It's you not being aware and you not being in control and knowing exactly what is happening, just owning your financial journey. That is where the danger lies. Okay, so how do you handle lifestyle creep? How do you handle inflation, lifestyle inflation, right? Because like we said, it is going to happen. That is a given. You are going to want better because that's why you work so hard. The house, the in. But I think it's just being aware. So I think first things first, write it down. Write it down. There's something that is very special when you write stuff down. Because one moment you could be thinking out of excitement, oh my gosh, I have an increase, or there's some money that I'm going to receive. And you're thinking it's actually a lot of money. But when you write things down, it brings you back down to earth very quickly. Like, actually, it's not that much. It's not that much. And write it down, break it down per month. So what people often do when they get an increase, you look at it annually, say, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Break it down to per month. You will realize that SARS is there, taking. This is taking, that is taking. So breaking things down and compare it to your current expenses. Pam made me realize such a good point. She was saying, what often happens is that people are already living beyond their means before the increase. So maybe you're the type of person who has to take $1,000 from their savings or call Pam to say, hey friend, can I have 1.5 just to finish off the month? Now you have this increase. It means already you were living beyond your means. So whatever increase, it means that it's just going to cover your normal expenses, right? So the difference then you can say, all right, I actually do have some extra money. So write it down, compare it to your current expenses and put it against your current expenses and see actually what does that translate to? Does it really translate to me having more money that I can spend, or it's more money that I just needed to survive? So number one. Number two, don't make rash decisions. As I've always said, if I win the lotto, for a month I will not spend a cent on it, because I feel like if I were to spend just even a little bit, like no, let me just go on holiday here, it will never stop. It'll never stop. So I think for me, it's just that thing where you say, whenever you are going to receive maybe a windfall, maybe some refund, or maybe someone left a little bit of money for you in the family, or it is an increase from your job, just think about it and say, okay, what do I actually want to do with this money? What are my goals? What do I want to achieve out of it? Because one of the questions I ask, and I ask often in my webinars or talking engagements, is think about yourself right now. If you've been working for 6 years, you've been working for 10 years, 15 years, or you've just begun working, think about all the paychecks you have earned. If, let's say, it's 15,000, we're not going to do inflation and all. So let's just say you started with 15,000, right? And let's just say that was the amount, but we know you get increases, right? And you've been getting it for times 12 months, times, let's say you've been working for 10 years. So in 10 years, you have done 1.8 million, right? How much of that money in your entire working career have you kept for yourself, right? So I know when you see people getting raises, it's good times. The money has not even hit your account yet. The end of the month has not arrived. Or let's say they're saying, okay, no, from the 1st of January, you're going to get an increase. People start spending the money they don't have now. I'm getting from January, I'm out of here. Now you create even extra debts, extra things. By the time the money comes, you are pissed off. You are annoyed because now this money is not going to your pocket or your investments or, the things that you actually wanted to go to. It's going towards paying bills again, all over again. So don't make rash decisions. When you do get an increase, when you win the lottery, like I will one day, Pam, I feel like I would never stop spending. If I get the money, then I start spending. I would go on holiday. I know I would go mad.
On a long holiday.
6
months, a whole year.
Just a month, just somewhere nice and quiet and cute.
Once you start.
Yeah, no, never. I would be on holiday for the whole year. I said, who needs this? Who needs to be doing this? So don't make rash decisions. Number 3, go back to the drawing board. Again, I think the excitement of the moment, the excitement of making more money or receiving more money, or the potential of receiving more money, makes us so excited. And it's an exciting thing, though. It really is. So before you receive the money, go back to the drawing board and say, what are my goals? And you have to look at, let's say, for example, you receive money at the end of November, or an increase, or some sort of windfall by end of November. You have to look at the rest of the year and say, actually, what have I achieved of the goals that I had? How much of that have I ticked off? Then if you have not, it means that you need to fund those goals. You cannot have, oh no, I have new goals that I want to. No, go back to the drawing board, calm down and say, okay, can I tick off this and that? And also, if you have debt, it's the most incredible thing to me as human beings. That's my baby crying. It's the most incredible thing when you look at, or when you hear people, when they send me messages, like a DM or an email. I swear, I get so many emails where people will say, oh, Mapalo, I received 100,000 rand. And I have 60,000 worth of debt, but I was thinking maybe what I can do, don't think, pay off the debt. This is the time I encourage you. I love people when they think, and one of the things I tell my son is the boldest thing you can still do in this life is to think for yourself. This time around, I encourage you not to think. If you have the money, pay off the debt and get it out of the way. Now you still have this thing that's hounding you, and 3-4 months later, you don't know what happened to the 100,000. And normally that's exactly what happens. So pay off the debt. Look at the increase and say, okay, can I increase my contribution towards my retirement annuity, or my pension fund, or my emergency fund? If I have not started investing, don't think about it. Put in the debit order already. You see, sometimes when it comes to money, we try to rationalize. No, just start. Just start, okay? Especially with the one with debt. It's a big thing. Actually, please do comment if you've ever received some type of money either through an increase or getting some money from someone, and it was a bit of a lump sum, but you did not pay off your debts. Okay, and how did you feel? All the time people come back and say, oh, you know what, I know I should have done it, but the money was there, then there were other things that I wanted to accomplish at that time. And I think when it comes to debt, when you don't have debt, it frees you up to do so many other wonderful things for yourself. Okay, so go back to the drawing board and look at your goals. Then the last one, as I always do try to encourage after, doing the thorough checks, not being too excited, making sure you pay off your debt, put some money aside for some fun, right? So let's just say it's an increase, and maybe the increase after tax is about 5K. If you can put away $1,000 every single month for a holiday with your kids, with your loved ones, whenever it is, do so as well. But remember, it's about planning. It's about just making the right decisions for yourself. And lifestyle creep, I was actually saying, I know of an analogy of the boiling frog, right? And for me, it's very similar to lifestyle creep, that you don't see it happening. You don't see yourself, just consuming, but it happens in small increments over time. Then one day you realize that, things are a bit out of control. I've taken on more than I can actually afford. So how the myth goes, or the analogy goes, is that if you put a frog in just lukewarm water, it will be okay. Then you start adding hot water a little bit more and more. It kind of just acclimatizes, like, okay, it's not too bad until it dies. So lifestyle creep for me, it's that you just get used to getting more, and now your expenses, now you want more and more and more, until you realize that actually I cannot even quit my job if I wanted to. I don't have that option. I have to keep on working. I hate these people I work with. Pam just despises me, but she has to come here every day now, And that's because you don't have any room to say, okay, am I saving a little bit of money? Do I have investments? Do I have a bit of a cushion, so that if this working situation is no longer unbearable, I have some money for 3-4 months that I can use? So how are you going to be avoiding lifestyle creep? Or has it crept up so much that there's no room anymore? And again, I think another thing that I actually didn't have on my notes is, if you find yourself in that situation, it's okay to downgrade. It's actually okay to downgrade and say, hey, I have created a mess for myself, and if I continue like this, I know 5 years later I'll still be complaining about the same things. And downgrading is such a scary thing for a lot of people, and normally it comes from, oh my gosh, I was driving this car, I was living here, I was sending my kids to this type of school. What will people think now? It's born from, what will people think of me? If you have to downgrade because it's going to make your life better. And the thing about downgrading is that it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes literally can be a year, 2 years of sacrifice that set you up for really, really amazing financial life. So don't be afraid of making tough decisions. Don't be afraid of having tough conversations with your family, with your partner, if those are the type of things that you do need to do, because lifestyle creep and decisions just took their time. I'll actually give you an example how lifestyle creep actually works. A couple of years ago, I saw a client. It was actually her husband who had booked a session with me, because she had said, you know what, I don't know what we're doing wrong. I don't know what's happening. And he was like, hey, I'm a bit uncomfortable talking about money. Maybe you should go see someone, then we can start from there. And I remember one of the things she said, she's like, oh yeah, and we're planning on buying a house. I said, with what money? Literally, I said, with what money? Because as you are a middle-class person, as long as you can show that you are earning an income, the bank will give you. It's okay. They think, oh no, you can afford it. And I said, you cannot afford to move to a new house. And I showed her the numbers. We worked through some numbers together, and she was like, I actually just never did those numbers. She had never written them down. So even with yourself, before making all those decisions, or creating more expenses for yourself, write it down, write down what you're currently paying, and see how much of the increase or the windfall is going to make, what difference it's going to make in your life. So happy increases, happy getting money, but think a little bit more before you act on those expenses. Thank you so much for watching, Tribe.